Hello everyone, hello, welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. It's a very special day, of course. It's New Year's Eve, and you must be wondering, as in, what is this? Ankit, you're back bugging us even on New Year's Eve. But come on, we had to definitely come to you because you are all our family, and of course, we celebrate with you all, and that is meant to be, right? And at the end of the day, what do I love most, and what do all my viewers love most? Football, and we are here to discuss football for sure. And it's a big week. Yes, first of all, yes, I will be covering this particular stream along with, of course, a very special panel in English today. We will be alternating between English and Hindi, in the coming days, depending upon the viewers and, of course, the panel. But before we begin, let's smash that like button as well as share the stream. And if you're not subscribed, do consider subscribing. Just the press of a button as we go on the road to 1K, hopefully very soon. And yes, like I was saying, it's a very special week. Of course, we did a big kind of build up yesterday, and we were live along with the Indie Cop. Very special video. We selected a combined 11 for Chelsea Liverpool because we are going to be going head to head this weekend, this Sunday. And for that, I had to have a very special panel in Doug back to Almighty Blues FC, Douglas from the Dugout Football Channel. How are you, Doug?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Great, great. Yes, I thought I'll probably call on you for this big preview because yes, we did a brief kind of build up, but I think it's all about basically talking about why this fixture is really important because yes, we'll be talking a lot of details. But before anything, I have to definitely ask you, Doug, because of the fact that Chelsea have had a lot of contract issues going on. I know that Mo Salah also, I think, has been in talks. It's not really sorted. Where is it right now standing at?
Ugh. It's it's a big question that needs to be answered, unfortunately. And I wish I could give you the answer for that, but no, I think obviously obviously we've got players going away to the African Cup of Nations soon. But I hope it's sorted ASAP because the more this drags on, more the more speculation it will be about around his future. So hopefully it gets sorted soon.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, people out there who have not checked out the Dugout Football channel, please do so because, yes, I love the content. And yes, Doug covers a lot of stuff. The link, as always, is below. And definitely, we featured the Dugout Football channel for a particular reason because we love it. And so is the other panel because, yes, for the first time, we have basically, Indian Gunner in the house. Indian Gunner, that is Ashish. Welcome to Almighty Blues FC. A big game, yeah. Arsenal versus Man City. First of all, how have you been?
Everything is perfect. It's a very big game, big match day. I think I'm not worried about the match, but I'm very worried about my FPL. It looks like João Cancelo has been robbed,
Yeah.
and things have been really dark last week. I mean, stuff's coming from Lukaku, Cancelo, and this
Yeah.
probably our manager is, and plus the staff, the coaching staff getting COVID. So things have been really dark, but we hope for the best. I think I just want the game to go along as it is,
Absolutely.
not get cancelled. That's all I want for all the teams, basically.
And you know what? My idea was of calling basically a gunner in the house is because this game is equally important to Chelsea and Liverpool. Arsenal beating Man City, nothing like it, right? But yes, we'll be talking details. But first of all, IG, as I'll call you, definitely congratulations. I think you've gone past 17K, if I'm not wrong, if not further. Uh, Great channel. I love your transfer shows for sure. People out there, by chance, don't know IG, please do check out. The link is below. But talking about transfers, IG, Aubameyang, that story everyone knows. It's well documented. But finally, where is he going?
I think at the closest that he is right now, I think when he comes from Afcon, I think his brother is trying to sort out a Serie A move for him. I'm expecting the closest the club could go. I think he could go is Juventus. I think they would seek a center forward now. I've really heard a very crazy rumor about Morata going to Barcelona.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know
No
what's
loyalty in
happening.
football. No
Seriously,
loyalty
that's
whatsoever.
he's like a big money laundering scheme, as what people say on Twitter. Because it's just that however he performs, at the end of the day, he literally, he goes out for big money, big money move, and we just don't know how that happens. So. I personally believe if that's going to happen, Juventus are definitely looking for a striker. But Aubameyang, I think it will be only a loan deal, nothing else.
Interesting, interesting. Again, people out there in the chat, again, thanks for joining and do stick on till the end. You will have a great kind of time because a lot of topics to be discussed. And of course, we are having three varied components here. I'm representing Chelsea, of course, IG is representing, Arsenal, and Doug representing Liverpool. But we are all football fans and we will play the neutral as well for the other games of Game Week 21. That's going to happen, this weekend. Of course, there are a lot of COVID cases as we speak. A couple of games have been called off. I think it's Leicester, Norwich, and of course, the other game, if I'm not wrong, is Southampton, Newcastle. So that's bad, but hopefully everyone do take care of yourselves. But before anything, it's got to be New Year. For people who will probably be watching later on, Happy New Year to you all. And of course, people in Australia, New Zealand, already it's New Year. So yes, hope you had a great time. Talking about basically New Year, I had to definitely, take in your opinion as well, Doug, because Liverpool, I must say that overall they've had a very good year, considering the injuries that they had last season. But if you have to kind of pick maybe that one goal in the entire calendar year, which one would that be?
It has to be Alisson Becker. I think that's probably the most obvious one because Alisson Becker, like you never expect the goalkeeper to score a goal, and for him to become, I think, the seventh goalkeeper to score in the Premier League, like that goal was just massive because it saved our top four hopes. And then obviously we went on and got top four, so it has to be the Alisson Becker goal at West Brom.
Okay. As in, fair enough. I was about to say that, okay, as in, for sure it's got to be that, but I can go with that because, yeah, as an opposition, I must say that was probably scored in the minute, after the full time, what should have been. But anyway, that's just an opposition banter, but a great goal for sure. What about you, IG? I'll probably ask you about the player, as in, who was your player of the year from an Arsenal perspective?
I think the one player that I really love, that I think Emil Smith Rowe is my player of the year, because I think we were craving for someone to come at number 10. We got before getting Odegaard on loan in the last January transfer window, we just gave in December, I think it was December, where we gave Emil Smith Rowe a chance at number 10, and he's relishing that spot since then. I think since January Odegaard came in, thoughts were that Odegaard should go out on the right hand side. Emil Smith Rowe should stick on that number 10. He got the new kit number 10 as well. So this season was really big, and people were expecting. I think Emil Smith Rowe is doing all the good dribbles. He's getting into those pockets of spaces. The only thing that you need from a midfielder is that he's got to keep scoring, and he's got to keep assisting as a number 10. He's got to create space, yes, but he's got to bring those numbers. Arsenal, it's been such a long time that we did not have a player who actually scores on the midfield. It's been quite a long time, and Smith Rowe comes in, and he's not even just doing it while just starting for Arsenal. He's doing it from the bench recently in the last 3-4 games, and he's been. I think he's been a game changer. Even though we've got Ramsdale, who's been commanding in that goalkeeping spot, but for me, I think if you talk about exactly 1 year, like, it'll be a little biased because it has a hint of 2020 December as well. But I think Emil Smith Rowe has changed it for me.
Yeah, I thought you'll probably refer to the game against Chelsea, which changed the course, and Lampard, unfortunately went, a start of what things to come. I don't want to remember bad times. But yeah, as in, great kind of calls there. I would go with them as well if I was, Liverpool or Arsenal fan. I can definitely see that happening. But for Chelsea, as in, there's no, question. That's why I didn't, explain much, that it's got to be the Champions League. Of course, the Super Cup also in a way is very special because we've been losing Super Cups for fun. Champions League, kind of tops everything for me, and just that, that moment, like, honestly, like, really emotional moment. Hopefully, we'll see another soon, and with Tuchel being there, because we don't want managers getting sacked again, and we'll probably come to that next. And again, people out there watching, please do smash that like button if you have not done it yet. Certainly helps the stream, and share the stream, and check out the description for the Dugout Football channel and Indian Gooner, and do subscribe to them as well, and Almighty Blues FC if you have not done. And as we go ahead, do take the poll, because yes, that's about which team is going to finish fourth as of now, what, halfway through the season. It'll be interesting to know the chat votes, and we'll come to that. But talking about basically sacking managers, I know, like, let's be honest, being a Chelsea fan, I know what it is. Like, I really don't know as in where to start. Like, I'll probably take the center stage here, guys, because I know I did basically share my feelings as an immediate reaction that I did early in the morning. It was about 12 hours ago. But I am not done yet, because there are a lot of things that are happening in Chelsea which are totally unanticipated. And then this is probably the last thing that you wanted as a Chelsea fan or as a Chelsea player in the camp. I know, again, a lot of times, journalists, select the correct timing for everything, and we don't know what's correct or wrong and what is the full story, because again, there's an interview for people out there who've been living under a rock. Lukaku has actually gone on record saying a lot of things, that he loves Inter Milan. Of course, that's understandable, and he would like to return someday. For me, obviously, the question mark that I'm really not totally satisfied with is the fact that he told would love to return in his prime. Like I mentioned in the other video, the link is below, but I had mentioned, like, is he not in his prime right now? Why did he sign a 5-year contract? And those are things which will be questionable by the fans. But yes, moving on. Of course, there are other stories about him not being happy with the system, trying to basically fit into the system, trying to be a professional. When even going out and saying this, I'm not sure if it's the definition of professional, but at the same time, clearly, he loves Chelsea. Like, let's be honest. Like, whatever I said in the past cannot be ignored as well. Like, he loves Chelsea to the core. Now, it's about basically what is the need for him to say that. And even if he said that, and I know Tuchel was questioned in the presser earlier today, and Tuchel actually mentioned that, hey, let's be honest, we are not happy about what happened, right? As in, obviously, you don't want to kind of bring unwanted noise, and that is what Lukaku, indirectly has got now. But at the same time, Tuchel is very happy with Lukaku's persona as a player, as a teammate, because he's not looking that part where he's unhappy, etc. And so has he looked on the pitch. Like, I don't think he looked unhappy even a bit. Like, I remember the days of Nicholas Sanelka sulking. It's nowhere close, right? And so for me, there are two sides of the coin. Hopefully, we'll get to know more of the story. But the biggest question is, it's been what, 24 hours since that story came out. I don't see a tweet. Again, people in the chat or the panel, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't see a tweet or a message coming from Lukaku clearing the air yet. And that is
No.
strange. I know probably Fabrizio Romano wants some airtime, and maybe, Sky Sports Italia, he had a contract or whatever, saying that he cannot reveal anything for like 3 days till the time, all the parts are released. But that will be the end of the story. So I'll probably come to you, Doug, first. And again, people in the chat, any questions that I'm putting to the panel, feel free to comment in the chat. We will certainly take your opinion as well. But Doug, like, let's talk about the system now. Lukaku is a person who's played, like we've seen, like for Belgium, he has been fantastic. All-time Belgium best player, I would say, almost, right? As in debatable. For Inter Milan, obviously, he's one of the legends already. For Everton, he's the highest goal scorer ever. So he has played in various teams, in various systems. And he's nearing 30. Now, at this point, if you say that, hey, I'm not comfortable with the system, it's taking time, like, does it not basically smell of an excuse? Like, I know that probably I shouldn't be saying that as a Chelsea fan, but do you not see that he should be flexible enough, and he started the season well? So what do you think?
It's absolutely crazy that this has came out. Like, obviously, it sort of came out last night, and then obviously you look at it this morning, and more quotes have come out. I mean, I think his comments have been taken out of context just slightly. I think you have to say that for sure. But this is the thing. Like, if he's unhappy with the system, then Tuchel's obviously. I think the thing is, I think people have probably worked out how to play Thomas Tuchel's side this season, because you've obviously seen this December. I think you've had 5 draws in the last sort of 10 games, I think it is, or something like that. So you look at it, and player power is getting bigger and bigger and bigger at these kind of clubs. No one is bigger than the club. No one is bigger than the manager. So obviously, Lukaku is a bad egg right now. Will he be involved on Sunday? I highly doubt it. I think he just needs time out. I don't think it's right to play him in this kind of game. Yes, I know it's a big game, but with what's happened, you don't want that in the dressing room when you're going to play Liverpool, and this is one of the biggest games of the season so far. So it's very, very strange. Obviously, I know that he loves Inter Milan. He's obviously been quoted in saying that he loves Inter Milan. But this has came at probably the worst time that you can think of, because Chelsea have got a lot of injuries. And the last thing you need is one of your players coming out and standing up against himself and the manager.
I know that you hit the nail on the head, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, am I really, hearing or seeing what I am? Because I was like totally shocked, right? But I'll probably go to you, IG, because again, Lukaku started the season very well. Let's be honest. Like, we all have short-term memory loss. I know, as a football fan, we are all reactionary. But the fact that no one can forget that performance against Arsenal. So IG, he literally manhandled Rob Holding and Pablo Mari. Let's be honest. What has changed from then to now, even in his performances, from your point of view?
I think the biggest issue is that we all thought that Lukaku is the guy who after the Arsenal game I think I supposed to pick him up even in my FPL, is that he would get me points first and he would literally terrorize those defense. That was my idea about him. But the biggest issue with Lukaku then being is that I think Timo Werner was supposed to try to find a space on one side, and he was trying to draw the defenses. I think Timo Werner was when he was involved more with Timo Werner. Werner did a lot, and somehow Lukaku was stranded far wide. He from the scorer, he turned out to be. I don't even want to say, was he a provider or something. He was just there to outstretch the defense. His role was not at all. I don't know if he was. I'm pretty much sure that he was not enjoying that even before getting injured. And he was just doing the exact opposite with Belgium. So I think he was enjoying the international stage, but club football, he was. I think he knows the biggest issue with the whole thing, that he's. I don't want to say he's exposed Chelsea. I don't know what do you call this, expose. What do you call this? I don't know, but.
I think that's a shortcoming for sure, because of the fact that, as in the number 10s are not working, consistently. Maybe that is what basically is the realization. And you hit the nail on the head again, because for me, yes, it's going to take time. Like, again, it's not rocket science. We all knew that he's coming to a different club. I know he's been at Chelsea earlier, but that was years ago. Like, it's going to take time. And that's something that I was actually surprised by the statement, because it's not like he's been doing terribly as well. Yes, he's not really clicking when he came back from injury, but the fact that he's coming from injury, I was thinking, like, as a fan, like, maybe Tuchel is not playing for that reason. But then Lukaku comes out and unnecessarily says something in the post-match presser, and then this again, like, maybe he doesn't mean what he actually kind of says, and that happens with a lot of us, right? And Doug kind of said it already. But Doug, you had a player in Wijnaldum. Like, I know Wijnaldum, again, a cult player, so as to speak, but like the way he left, of course, I think there was something that he spoke against the fans, and of course he felt that the fans weren't with him. And I don't know how you guys reacted to Wijnaldum. In a way, like, how do Chelsea fans react to him? Is it not fair that we are going to be reactionary? As in, how do you deal with the situation as a fan base? I think you're on mute, buddy.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Wijnaldum is that he ran his contract down. I think there's no saying that. He definitely ran his contract down. And the club weren't, willing to give him a new one. I think the thing is with Lukaku is, as I said, I don't see him being involved on Sunday, which I think is not the best possible time for Chelsea fans, as I've obviously said as well. But looking at it, it's a tricky one. It's a very, very tricky one. I mean, does he stay the season? I think he will definitely stay. I don't see Chelsea selling him in January. There's no chance that's going to happen anyway. But how do you solve it? I mean, it's up in the air, isn't it? It's really, really tricky.
It's up to him and Tuchel to sort it. Like, it's strange that's what I said. Like, 24 hours have passed. In the presser also, it seemed like Tuchel was going by his body language, what he's seen till date, and they haven't spoken yet, or maybe they haven't. They want to finally keep it behind the doors, which is what it should have been in the first place, because it's probably blown out of proportions for nothing, like you said earlier. But again, that's a fair point, because it's very difficult to kind of deal with the situations of the fan base. Like, I honestly, the way I reacted, if you see my video, I have reacted what I felt, honestly, like, totally unprepared. And that's how I am speaking right now as well, because we love it that way. We speak basically a heart out, because that is why we love football, and it's a passion, right? Yeah. But I know, as a matter of fact, even to my video, there were people who were positive about that video, that they agree with that, and there were people who were totally negative. But as in we only can go with what we are seeing or hearing, and nothing has been cleared till now, as in from either party, putting the end to the story. So that's really needed before basically any window starts, and the January window came at the wrong time. But I think you cover a lot of transfer stuff. I know Fabrizio Romano is probably the biggest name out there in transfers, world, right? As in currently, there is a school of thought that it is Fabrizio who's probably using this basically as a bait for his fame. But does Fabrizio really need that? Like, do you see that any way that Fabrizio could have added to things? No, right? Translation and everything.
I've covered a lot. I think the recently that which I remember is players are very notorious. Like in these when the transfer window comes in, if they're really not happy at a single club, or if they want to move to a club that they desire, they kind of come up with these kind of interviews just before the transfer window or during the transfer window. Dani Ceballos, when he first loan spell when Unai Emery was there, he went off and he was teased. He was still stuck at Real Madrid and nobody was coming in for a loan spell for him again. So he was teasing, wearing a Real Betis kit and put it up on his Instagram stories. And he was teasing, someone come and get me. That's what he wants to say. And recently he just praised Mikel Arteta on in an Arsenal post. He's literally rotting it in Real Madrid, if I can say that. But no club is coming for him, and he's not getting any game time. That's not really good for his career. So I think I hate the way Lukaku framed it. I think he could have framed it much better. He says that he's being professional. He's not. You can't be professional when you're contracted with Chelsea. You just can't go and say that the three best clubs in the world are Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich. You can't do that. You just can't do that. That's not professional. I'm sorry. You're not. And the big reason I think he's completely unhappy with Chelsea. I think as you said that on this channel, when you say what you feel like from your heart, I think Lukaku has done that. But you got to understand that you're clearly sending out a message to all the Chelsea fans that I did it for the money.
Absolutely.
You're saying it clearly, because the big reason is that if you believe that Lautaro was your best friend, Lautaro Martinez was your brother, you could die for him on the pitch. There was no point leaving. And what's the funniest part? I mean, Inter Milan CEO comes out and says that we replaced him with Dzeko and now we're getting the same numbers. He doesn't give a damn about it. That means all the 100 million is in his pocket. So Lukaku made a lot of money, and he chose money over happiness. And I'm sorry, that doesn't work.
Yeah, no. As in again, bang on, because till now that's what it seems like. But I would still like to believe that there is basically a lot of misunderstanding. Kind of incomplete stories, and hopefully we'll hear more stories before the Liverpool game, because I think that is what we are here mainly for. Like, that is the biggest game I know of this week. And of course, it can be the biggest game of the season for me, because it could be season defining for one of the two teams. Like for me, if one team kind of loses, Doug, I have to say that probably that team's, run for the, title challenge is gone. And that's how it's been because of obviously ManCity. But strangely, we've had none of the two teams kind of coming up with a win. So it's a strange week for both the teams when both need to win, every particular game. So I don't know, like maybe, I know why it's important. I would say is because we are 8 points behind City, and I think Liverpool are 9 points behind City now.
Yeah.
But yes, Liverpool have a game in hand. But I would still say like it's extremely crucial, not just for the title challenge, but even generally, because we all know like Liverpool, Chelsea, Chelsea, Liverpool, some games we've had, and of course, a lot of history to it. So I'll play a short video. It's a short 1-minute video. So people in the chat, again, do take the poll if you've not taken, and smash that like button. Just sit back and relax and look at this video, and you'll realize why it's such an important game. Yeah. So here you go. hope we relived some memories there for sure. A lot of them. I still remember, like, possibly I became like a die-hard Chelsea fan, like probably in that early as in Mourinho era when Benitez was new and a lot of things. But for you, Doug, which is that one particular match, maybe that Chelsea Liverpool match that you always remember fondly of?
Uh, I don't want to upset Chelsea fans even more, but probably the ghost goal. I think it has to be the ghost goal. I think
It's
that
not a goal.
was.
How can you count that? Sorry to cut you, but it's not even a goal.
But no, I mean, obviously, the Benitez Mourinho days. You've obviously had Rodgers and Mourinho. It's a rivalry that's been building and building and building, and obviously you've got the two managers now, Tuchel and Klopp. And you know what? I think obviously last season, I look at the game last season between the two sides at Stamford Bridge, and it was two mistakes. It was two mistakes that gave Mane the two goals, and the game kind of changed anyway because I think it was 0-0 at half time, and then obviously Christensen gets sent off just before the halftime whistle, and then obviously we scored the two goals as well. I remember Kepa giving the ball straight to Mane for one of them anyway, but yeah, that game at the start of the season as well, I think people kind of looked at Chelsea then and said they're probably the team to beat because of the defensive performance against Liverpool. Because you obviously were down to 10 men. Reece James, obviously Gabriel soon. Reece James, I did see that he's not got a very good. He's got a very bad injury as well. But I have to say, I've been very, very impressed with the way that you guys have, come on bleeps and bounce. Yeah, of course that's a classic for Chelsea fans, but I must say I've been very impressed with Chelsea. Maybe December has always not been a kind month for you guys. I think, as I've said, 5 draws at the last 10 games as well. Form has been a bit up and down as well, but this game, form goes out the window, you'd have to say, for this game. And it'd be interesting to see what kind of teams both managers put out as well. We've had a lot of injuries. You guys have had a lot of injuries as well, COVID related issues as well. It's going to be an interesting game, but I say whoever loses this game, I think is out of the title race. But I keep saying this, nothing is won in January, nothing is won in February, nothing is won in March. It's all about April and May. If you're between City about 3 points, then you've always got a chance. But I have to say, thank you, Super Tommy Tuchel. I think if it's a draw, it doesn't really help either side. I think one of these sides has to win. And it could be a very interesting game. It's going to be a very tight, nervy affair, I think.
Absolutely. And IG, of course, like you've been following football for a very long time as well. But any particular match or any memory about Liverpool Chelsea, which comes to mind to you?
Probably the Salah goal. Oh, sorry.
No problem. Yeah, the Salah goal is something that definitely stands out for sure. But IG, in terms of the match, any particular match to you?
The match wherein Suarez bit off Ivanovic. I think it was 2013, wasn't it?
13-14. Yes.
Suarez scored in that game, and then after that, it was a. I mean, it was pure emotions. When I actually saw that game, and I was like, oh my god, this guy scored, and I was shocked as in how did that? It was a big chunk of a bite which got unnoticed, and then he got a ban. I think for me, I'm not just joking. I think it was a very crazy game. I mean. It was really filled with emotions, that game.
Yes. As in a lot of episodes, yeah. But as in let's move to current, because yes, we are talking about this game on Sunday. So Doug, coming back to you, I know the AFCON is going to happen, and this is going to be the last game, like you said, before Mane, Salah, and Keita kind of move on, at least for a month. Now, in their absence, you think Jota definitely starts? If Firmino and him are fit, they both start, and maybe a third option. What are you seeing in 1 month that is coming on?
Well, it could be any front line really. I think Jota will probably be on the left. I'd probably say Bobby will probably be on the striking role. Hello, Daniel. Hope you're well as well. And then it's a toss-up of Minamino, an Origi, maybe a Harvey Elliott when he comes back as well. I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay. I think if it had been games against the likes of, like, obviously, I know Salah and Mane are going to obviously miss the 2 cup games against Arsenal, which my esteemed guest down to my left there will be pretty pleased to not have them to play in the cup tie. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. I think we've got enough in the squad to cope as well. But obviously, with the COVID and injuries are rising as we speak as well. I think we'll be okay. I think the games that they're missing is Brentford and Crystal Palace in the league, and then I think obviously the Shrewsbury FA Cup tie. I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. But if one is Jota, Firmino, or Origi gets injured, then I would be very, very worried and very concerned.
Yes, absolutely. I think obviously, in terms of players, there's no secret, IG, that for Liverpool as an opposition, I know that Salah is probably the most kind of feared striker that they have. I can't even imagine Salah was Alonso. Alonso is great going forward, but yeah, we'll come to the key battles. But for you, IG, like, just as a neutral, like, apart from Salah in this particular game, do you see any other player who Chelsea need to be really wary about?
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Interesting.
And
So,
I think Chelsea have an advantage here with Kovacic coming back fit. I think he can definitely run the midfield. I think he had a very fantastic game last time around. But I think Liverpool versus Leicester, it was. I think it's a lesson. They literally got switched off. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. They just switched off with that run, and nobody actually saw Lookman running in. I was thinking, I think maybe Trent always gets caught up in these positions. He was running back, but he was just jogging, and I thought, okay, fine, maybe the defenders might come in. But that finish in the near post was fantastic. I think the midfield battle in this game is always going to be great. Fabinho is always there to win those balls back, but I think Chelsea have a better midfield. They can run the midfield well in that game.
Great. And the key battle for you, Doug, is going to be that right flank as well, or do you think that basically there are more than one battles?
Well, we definitely need to improve, because that game against Leicester was probably our worst performance of the season. We just did not look good that day. Yes, I know people will say, yes, you battered Leicester from the second half onwards, but even still, I think we have to improve. We definitely have to improve for this game. Key battles. I mean, obviously Mason Mount absolutely scares me at the moment. He's just on absolute fire at the moment. Seems to have picked up recently as well. Obviously, if he plays, then obviously Lukaku is definitely a danger from anywhere. Obviously, I haven't really talked about Hakim Ziyech. Obviously, one player that ain't going to the African Cup of Nations, which will be obviously pleasing for Chelsea, is he'll obviously probably get more game time as well. Pulisic has always been a fan of mine as well.
Especially against Liverpool, right? He had, I think, that fantastic goal. I think during the lockdown, we all remember. Even Klopp was wowed, and he knows Pulisic very well. So yeah, interesting that I can actually see him starting. But now you mentioned those key battles. I have one for you, Doug, for sure. As in one key battle from a Chelsea's point of view, I will say it is Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor versus Chelsea. Trust me, I know that we will all talk about basically the red card, and I remember me and Doug had basically not an argument, but we definitely exchanged messages on Twitter the last time around. But for sure, generally speaking, Anthony Taylor has something against Chelsea. I don't know what. And for me, that is probably the biggest battle. I'm just hoping that we have a great game, because we don't want it to be spoiled by the ref. As in many a times that's been done, and I'm really hoping for that. But he has one comment I'll quickly take, and again, a lot of people in the chat, do smash the like, and of course, big up to everyone joining. Super Tommy Tuchel. Yes, that was when Alonso was in prime form and Salah was getting to the prime form. So probably that was the reason. Now tables have turned my bait. And of course, big up to Daniel for joining. I hope you're liking the stream. Just while, as always, Rana, yes, definitely. We'll come to your questions as well very soon. And Jordan is in the house, another Liverpool fan. Big up to you. We did see Blue Clouds TV, another Chelsea channel I love always. And of course, Statman Stubbs, superb channel, Liverpool fan in the house, always great. And 8744, knows his stuff. And I think Shailesh, Prajwal, anyone, if you have any questions, please shoot your questions. We'll definitely come to the questions, but do take the poll as well because we'll get to that talking about the other game. But IG, I'll talk maybe from the other perspective, right? As in, we spoke about basically Liverpool players, IG. What about Chelsea players? Like just as a neutral, again, Lukaku obviously was very as an in form, so to speak, against Arsenal. But that Arsenal match earlier in the season told you something about other players that maybe Liverpool need to be careful about.
I think I think Chelsea Liverpool had a battle already, and I'm looking at after this outburst of Lukaku, is he going to play? That's another big question. But I don't think so. Tuchel has enough strikers. I mean, so I think Lukaku might play this game. This is a very big game. I mean, but the way I've heard comments from Tuchel, I think the title charge is actually down. I think I don't know. He just came out and he said that you come talk about title charge when you got this much amount of injuries. So I don't know if he's planning for the title charge, but I'm pretty much sure he's definitely defending Chelsea out there. So I'm expecting a respectable match. So I think I might see Lukaku start there. But I've known Tuchel from Dortmund, Mainz, and definitely his time at PSG and his tantrums when he did not get a centre back. So you know what happened, right? He got a midfielder and he played that player as a centre back. So I personally believe Lukaku might definitely start. But here the key game I think is definitely in the midfield. I don't know if Kovacic is going to start that game. I don't know, but if he does, I'm pretty much expecting a goal from that midfield for Chelsea. I just don't know because Liverpool have been absent-minded at times in the midfield. Fabinho is a fantastic ball retriever. I love him, but he's got to play with Thiago.
Yeah, we'll come to the Liverpool team as well, but quickly, because you touched upon the Chelsea team first, so this is basically what I'm predicting. Again, people in the chat, do get in your preferred 11s, especially Chelsea fans. Would you be happy with this? And again, I'll reason it out in a couple of minutes now. Yeah, Lukaku, he did what he did. Whatever he had to do, he's done it. But now is probably the right time for him to actually prove on the pitch. I would say, best case scenario would be him scoring a hat-trick against Liverpool. I know that's wishful thinking. May not happen, but may just happen. If it happens, that will be the best way to, as in shut a lot of mouths. Let's be honest. That's probably the old school way that I believe in. And Mount, I think Doug said it. He's been there, done that in the recent weeks. He's our talisman. Havertz comes in for Hudson-Odoi because Hudson-Odoi, great against Aston Villa, but definitely as in missing out the park against Brighton. So I think I wouldn't want to play him in another position and maybe experiment more because that will probably, reduce his confidence even more. So I will get in Havertz, who's back, and give him some game time, which we need him for the City match coming up after the Champions League goal. Pulisic, yes, against Liverpool especially, and Dortmund, he's been there. He kind of can understand the Klopp game. I think probably him playing a right wing back wasn't suited against Brighton, but he had a decent second half against Villa, so I'll play him. Kovacic, I know Indian Gunners going for Kovacic. I am personally a Kovacic stan, so I would back that. But I know Tuchel plays Jorginho and Kante, and they've worked excellently as well. I know Jorginho in the recent weeks has not been so fit and just coming back from injury as well as Kante, but for me, those two kind of complement each other and hoping that, Kante is on his A game, because if he is, I don't care who else is there, to be very honest, right? And I think in the back line, I think strangely in the press conference, very strange. Again, it's today's journalists. I don't know. They spoke about Lukaku saga and whatnot. Yes, Reece James being injured and him getting a scan, I think, later today. Hopefully, I don't know, anyone in the chat has any news on Reece James, do let us know. Definitely he's out for a couple of weeks at least. Ben Chilwell out for the season, but nobody asked about details about our proper midfielder and Ruben Loftus-Cheek being back or not, Timo Werner being back or not, Andreas Christensen, Thiago Silva, how fit are they? And those are unanswered questions. So I would assume none of them are fit because that was the last status. So I'm just going with this. But again, people in the chat, anyone Chelsea fans who would like to pitch in, definitely let me know what you think about this. And I'll come to the Liverpool team quickly, Doug. But Doug, any injury news from Liverpool? I know Robertson is suspended, right?
Robertson suspended. Thiago and Minamino are out of this game as well, which is a big blow because we need Thiago in that midfield. you look at the game against Leicester, and loads of passes were being led astray as well. Hello to Maisie as well. Hope you are doing well. So yeah, we really need Thiago in that midfield. The only time we've actually started Fabinho, Hendo, and Ox in the midfield, we've lost twice. So I'm hoping it's not that midfield on Sunday.
Yeah, because it's interesting to talk about Thiago, because I just read that he may be back fit. As in, again, there might be mixed reports here. Maybe, as in, this is something that later in terms of training that you're telling me. But apart from Thiago, what other change would you make to this level?
I think that is probably going to be the 11, if I'm being honest. Yeah. There is doubts about Alisson. Apparently, he's not been pictured in training, so I'm praying to goodness that he's not one of the ones that has obviously got the dreaded demonetized virus. But what I will say is that Kelleher is a very, very good understudy to Alisson. So if it is Kelleher, I think Kelleher will be a very, very good obviously player in this game. I don't know if Konate might come in for Matip. Matip's played a lot of football recently, and I think Konate against Havertz, and obviously if he plays Lukaku, will be very, very interesting. I think Tsimikas, Van Dijk, I think that's absolutely fine. Fabinho will definitely be there. Maybe Milner for Thiago. I don't know if Milner, Fabinho, or Naby Keita, if Naby Keita is fit as well. And then I think probably the front three is going to probably be the front three. Unless Bobby is back, then I think you may see Mane potentially being replaced by Roberto Firmino. So it could be Jota, Firmino, Salah. But apart from that, I don't really see any much changes on that team. But you don't know with Jurgen Klopp. You don't know what Jurgen Klopp will do with the midfield three. So could be very, very interesting for sure.
Interesting. So we have Super Tommy Tuchel already against Lukaku. Like, come on, give him a chance to perform, and then hopefully he clarifies things by the weekend. Let's give him the benefit of doubt. Yes, but I agree. Like, I was the same. You must have seen my video, hopefully, and I'm exactly feeling the same. But I would still want us to basically win this game. That's far more important for me rather than an ego of a fan or ego of a player, right? As in, I really want 3 points, simply put. So that's probably going to take precedence for me. And yes. And we'll get to that game as well for sure. But before that, quick predictions. IG, as a neutral, what do you think? As in, I'm sure Arsenal won't mind a draw because technically even they are fighting, as in they would like to say that. But what do you see happening in terms of the score prediction?
I think I don't want to see a draw. I want to see a match. I think the way I saw Spurs versus Liverpool, I think it might. I don't want to say a draw. I want to see a team win, but either it's going to be a 2-1 win. I think it's really close. But I think Liverpool have a slight advantage on the attack. But I don't know if their midfield is strong enough to Chelsea. I mean, you got to have a midfield that has a good amount of resistance to that Chelsea attack, which is it just keep coming back from the midfield. So I think it looks like a 2-1 win for Liverpool or a 1-1 draw for both the teams.
Wow, because not great. As a neutral, IG, I was expecting Doug anyway not going for a Chelsea win. I was expecting that you will at least go for a Chelsea win. And then again, people in the chat do put in your predictions. It's at Stamford Bridge, yeah. Just so you know. Hopefully, as in I know recently we got a lot of draws, like Doug said earlier as well. But Doug, what's your score prediction?
I'm going for a wee goal fest, actually. I'm going 3-2 Liverpool. I do think there'll be a wee bit of a goal fest in this game. I just think both defences at this moment in time, you're conceding goals for fun. We seem to be conceding a wee bit as well. I'm going to go for a 5-goal throw, but I think we're going to just sneak at 3-2.
Wow, that'd be great. And obviously remember the 5-3 game more recently, and that was a very special game for Liverpool fans, not for Chelsea fans. But yeah, as in I don't mind a goal, as in maybe a 5-goal thriller, but I'll take a 3-2. With Chelsea winning this time. I know a lot of problems with the contracts with the centre backs, etc. And people in the chat, again, if you're new to the channel, do consider subscribing and check out the description for the Dugout Football channel, Indian Gunner as well. And here, yes, Mogbhai ke saath karoge podcast, please. Definitely, Ravi. Mogbhai was on the channel and he'll come back for sure. We love his content. And again, like I said earlier, we kind of cover a lot of content in Hindi as well as in English, and of course, it depends on the audience and the panel. So today we are doing an English stream. Hopefully, you like it. It's the language of football after all. And just Viola is going for Liverpool win. Wow. I didn't expect that being a Chelsea fan, but yeah, as in just wearing the neutral hat, and I like that as well. Sports Wire, big up, great channel, and big up to Maisie who joined as well. Big up to Eugene, again a great channel that he has. Spurs fan in the house. Good to see neutrals always because we have a lot of perspectives. And around the EPL, wow, as in where did that come from? I don't know. Anyway, so I think a lot of Chelsea fans are going for Liverpool to win, and that's kind of surprising. I am actually going for a high-scoring kind of match, and I would go as in just the mirror kind of score to what Doug went. And quick kind of stats about the match, and yes, a lot of interesting facts that I'll tell you. Some of them are basically, I think Mason Mount, he's been involved in 12 Premier League goals this season. It's the most by any English player in the competition, right, this season. So again, a lot of media kind of calls out Mason Mount a lot of times, but he's been doing that consistently now. And Mo Salah, on the other hand, who used to of course play for Chelsea, he's been directly involved in 13 goals in his last 13 Premier League matches in London. Not great news for Chelsea fans. And yeah, and Chelsea haven't won their opening league match in any of the last 5 calendar years, by the way. Again, not a great stat. We would like to change that for sure, right? As in, it's been a long time that we won on New Year's Day, and of course, this is on 2nd. So hopefully we'll do well. Again, we have Prasanna. I fear us against Liverpool. No Chilwell or James, and Klopp has won 4 times at Stamford Bridge in his last 5 attempts. But Prasanna, come on, there's always things which change, and probably this is the time. And let's be optimistic there. And I think that's Chelsea against the wall. When Lukaku goes out and tells stuff, and we kind of perform on the pitch. Let's just hope, and that's what I'm saying. Yes, I recognize being back with Alonso. I would actually call Alonso a main striker, to be honest, because that's where he's best. And for me, that's the key battle. I know that you guys called out basically, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and we know Salah, obviously. But if Alonso, on the other hand, can go on the front foot, as in maybe Liverpool's right flank is, also on the threat. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, right, in a way. And yes, that'll be great to see. A Jorginho penalty. Yes, Anthony Taylor masterclass for sure. But yes, a lot of talk there about this big game on Sunday. But before that, of course, there's another big game, and like I said earlier, that game, IG, is going to be probably the biggest game, I would say, along with the Chelsea Liverpool game, because if in case Arteta can kind of get one over Pep, I know Arteta probably is down with COVID. He'll not be back. Hopefully, he'll be fine soon. But if they can do that, and that's probably the right opening, the moment that probably Chelsea or Liverpool are looking for, right? So I don't know. Like I know there's been great set of results that Arsenal have got. What do you think has kind of changed? Or is it there's a constant kind of approach that Arteta is using? Are you seeing in like Arsenal way coming up?
I think I'm quite positive with this game. I'm not. I think if you even ask me to make a prediction right now, I might say that Arsenal might win this. But more than I think we've been scoring we've been scoring 5 goals, 4 goals. These kind of games are really coming up. So I personally believe that Pep Guardiola is long overdue a loss against Arsenal, and I think it's coming up this week. It might help Chelsea, it might help Liverpool, but it is going to do millions of wonders for Arsenal fans, and their fact that whenever ManCity comes up, they always thought we've lost the game, but that did not happen in the FA Cup semi-final, and probably that's the only last game that I remember Arsenal under any manager coming up against Pep Guardiola's side and said, you know what, we're gonna beat you 2-0. So I think the defense is much better than last time around, but City have become more potent. They since David Silva left, I think they really found a way playing without a striker, but somehow getting into those pockets of spaces and at least shoot 11 balls right away in the first 10 to 15 minutes and get a goal. I think they're the highest scoring teams in the first 15 minutes of the Premier League. So I think it's going to be a very big game. But if I think Takehiro Tomiyasu was out because of the virus, so if he comes back, I think it's going to be a great game. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Interesting. Like I've not seen such a confident Arsenal fan for a long time, and I can actually relate to you because yes, the kind of results that you got, I would say even the performances have been really good. Like, surprisingly, when Aubameyang, created what he did, and then that's when Arsenal have kind of come up the ranks. But Doug, coming to you, because yes, we watch a lot of football. You know your football for
Yeah.
sure. So what I'm going to ask is about tactically, what has Arteta kind of done similar to what he was doing at Man City? Like, do you think he's finally using something that he was doing at Man City under Pep, or do you see any similarity at all?
I've been very impressed with Arsenal. I have to say, I have to take my hat off to Arteta. I think he's obviously a bad start to the season, but since then they've been fantastic, and they deserve to be fourth. They deserve to be fourth for sure. Yes, I know Arsenal haven't beaten City for a long, long time, but this is probably the best time to play them. I mean, Brentford took City all the way the other night as well. But Arteta, I love the youth he's bringing through. Obviously, you've got Saka, you've obviously got Smith Rowe coming through. You've obviously got Kieran Tierney coming through as well. Arsenal City is this is going to be a close game. This is going to be a very, very close game. I mean, everyone saw the 5-0, and that was just a complete training match for Manchester City. But this game, if Arsenal get the first goal, it makes it very, very interesting, because City can just pick you off like that. So I think with a lot of attacking talent on show, especially with the young boys coming through, as I said, Smith Rowe, Saka, you obviously got Odegaard there, Lacazette, Martinelli. I don't, again, no one's mentioned Martinelli as well. I think he's having a terrific season so far. Arsenal are a much improved side under Mikel Arteta. Unfortunately, though, Mikel Arteta has got the virus, so he will not be in charge of Arsenal's. But having said that, if there's a time to play Man City, it is now. And I would be very, very confident as an Arsenal fan going into this game.
Interesting. Like, IG, I know previously you mentioned about the defense, right? Again, people in the chat, I would like to ask you, like, to IG, this question goes out as well as the people in the chat, right? As in terms of Arsenal defense, I know that they had been leaking goals, but off late, I think the defense also looked good. So, what is the key? Like, what is the difference that he's got upon in defense? Is it just Ramsdale kind of making the saves, or is it the defense on the whole?
I think the way we started the season, marred with viruses, and Ben White not available. And somehow we could not get our best centre-back pairing. You got to understand that even Thomas Tuchel needs to get his three centre-backs, and he needs to get the three centre-back combination perfectly well. He can't play Azpilicueta. He can't go week in, week out playing Azpilicueta. He needs his Rudiger, he needs Christensen, he needs those solid players. The moment we realized the first game that Ben White and Gabriel played together, I mean, it's a very understanding. I mean, Gabriel shouts at him in Portuguese, and this guy replies in English. So there is some sort of understanding in them. And then Takehiro Tomiyasu has been colossal in that back four. I think from the right hand side, it's been so difficult. He wins the balls in the air. He wins. He wins those duels as well. He's been quite more. I think apart, if you look at the back four and the goalkeeper, I think more than anyone, I think Takehiro Tomiyasu's impact on the right hand side has been crazy. And I personally believe that he's been more instrumental than anyone else in that defense. Ramsdale, of course, not just because of his, comparing him to Bernd Leno. I mean, we gave away Emiliano Martinez, and I thought Arteta has definitely lost it because I was a big Martinez fanboy. But I backed my manager. We know that the management is going to stick with him, so I better stick with him and just realize what he's doing. And we got in Ramsdale. His distribution has been crazy. I mean, there were times under Unai Emery, I thought, oh my God, just don't play out from the back. You're going to kill yourself. And we did. We shipped out a lot of goals. I mean, Liverpool battered us. Lots of team battered us. But then right now, I'm not, for the first time in this whole season, like since we picked up from the first three games, I think I can relax when a team is pressing us. But it's so different when Liverpool do it, and it's really different when City do it. So that's the big test. But still, I think I definitely can, because of those back four, I think I can rely on them.
Well said. Because yes, again, as a Chelsea fan, it's never good to see Arsenal kind of come up the ranks again, seeing all these years. But again, banter aside, like I'd probably ask you, Doug, because I know IG mentioned previously about him being confident. But come on, let's not forget that final thrashing that Arsenal took earlier in the season against Man City. I know a certain Granit Xhaka kind of helped that particular result. being sent off, and that was like something. But anyway, in that game also, I think it was Ferran Torres who scored a brace and got an assist. Now Ferran Torres is
Yeah.
no longer there, and I know Man City from their perspective, you can say they have a great squad. They have been doing fantastic, and kudos to them. But they have been also lucky with injuries, with hardly any COVID cases. With Ferran Torres going, like imagine them getting a situation of COVID or an injury. I think probably Man City have they missed a trick by not starting a striker.
It's difficult with City because, yes, they may have not played with a recognised striker, but they're still a dangerous side. I mean, you look at the talent they've got on show. Bernardo Silva is having his best season by a long way. Kevin De Bruyne is not having his best season, but he's still popping up with a fair few goals, fair few assists as well. Jack Grealish is looking very, very good recently as well. So they've got some very, very good players, and I have to say one of the best fullbacks in the league for me is Cancelo. I think Cancelo is an absolutely fantastic player.
Shout out! Going to be a bit. I think we have to definitely speak about it, because what happened to Cancelo, and then trust me, like that's the worst thing that could happen. Like just as a normal human being, but even more so, the footballer that he is, and of course and then you're taken a lot of advantage of, right? As in IG, any stories that you have? I know that Saka, faced a lot of racial abuse during the Euros, but those are things that really, like, as content creators, we can only kind of voice our opinion. But as in, what is an end to this? At some point, IG, these things should stop, right? As in, what is the way to go about it?
I think I read somewhere that they are coming up with the if someone is doing it online, they are trying to ban them for like 8 years or 10 years, getting them into the stadium. But it's so difficult. Like it's really difficult. Like if I did, social media is all about having many accounts. So if I did that from one account, I can definitely switch to the other account. Of course, you can catch me from the IP address, but that would require a big team. It would require a lot of finance to get it done. And I personally believe that whether it's UEFA, whether it's FIFA, I think racism is probably at the very end of their priority list at the moment. It's all about World Cup every 2 years right now.
Yeah, so, and even during COVID times, imagine, like, first of all, you kind of battle COVID, you go out with family, and then what Cancelo got it again. It's beyond that even. Like for me, like that's something that was really old school. Like these things really shouldn't happen in this day and age. I know a lot of cases happen everywhere, and hopefully these things stop. But yeah, coming back to the game, of course, I think Super Tommy Tuchel makes a great point about City, or rather Pep, not really using the striker, a number 9, so as to speak. Even Lewandowski was a floating striker in the Bayern system. We know that, Doug, you cover a lot of Bundesliga yourself. By the way, Pep, don't you think he's turned English Premier League into Bundesliga, being so dominant? There must be some way of stopping this. But City, by the way, are linked to Patrick Schick. Do you see that as a good fit or no?
Patrick Schick is a fantastic striker. Obviously, he saw at the Euros for Czech Republic. He was very, very instrumental as well. He's been very, very good for Bayer Leverkusen as well. I think a kind of striker like that would be very, very good. I don't think they're going to get like a Haaland in January. I don't see City spending as much money in January. And anyway, teams like Chelsea, City, and Liverpool don't do many business in January anyway. But I think for the summer, probably Patrick Schick is probably a good option. I think they need a target man, actually. They definitely need a target man.
Yeah, because if you remember the days of Ibra, right? Ibrahimovic had a proper a fight with Pep. That's an understatement in itself, right? I mean, we all remember what that was. So I actually go with what Super Tommy Tuchel says. So for me, as in maybe them getting a striker will probably derail what they've been doing, because they, like maybe Lukaku to Chelsea, they have to change the way that they approach games in a way. But it'll be really interesting. Again, big shout out to people in the chat, Blue Clouds TV. Hopefully Arsenal can stop City, or City dropping points. We're all hopeful, mate. As in, we all live with hope. That's the thing that we have for us. Arsenal, come on, for one day, you become a best friend, and then you can become whatever you are. But yes, IG is laughing there. But yes, Sportswire says, as in, he hit the nail on the head. Because yes, just because people cannot go to the stadium, we cannot basically abuse online as well. And again, be it physical or online abuse of any form to any human being is wrong, and a player even more so. We can't take advantage of that. Would you take Haaland at CFC this summer? Roman moves mad when things get heated, of course. And then who will say no to Haaland? Like, come on, we all know that basically, as in Dortmund are not having a great season, but Haaland, we all saw the Champions League game, the last game, he just came on and scored a brace. Like, that is Haaland for you. Yes, if not Mbappe, probably Haaland is the next big thing in Europe right now in terms of strikers. So I would take him any day, and I would actually still be open to even get in Lewandowski, assuming that basically Bayern will get rid of him, and of course Lukaku stays. I would want us to go for 3-5-2. Again, that's for another day. We can certainly discuss a lot out of it. And coming to this game, of course, the Arsenal ManCity game, IG. Now again, I know that you faced that loss against ManCity, but for you, yes, Silva is in great form, Bernardo Silva, and De Bruyne has not been his level yet, but yes, he's probably going to be there. But any particular player that you feel that if you're going to stop City, you probably have a chance? Any particular players that you would like to highlight?
I think Phil Foden.
Yeah.
I think I'll go for Phil Foden because him and Jack Grealish partied around and missed 4 games. They were benched for it, but I think he played the last game, was the only goal scorer in that game. I think the closest that a player can come to what David Silva used to do at Man City, I think it's Phil Foden. I think he definitely gets into those pockets of spaces. His runs, you just can't see. He's just so slick with that, and his dribbling. He can literally shoot from anywhere. I think we saw a game Liverpool City. Was it last season? Yes, last season where he was it last season, right? Or this season?
The
Foden
one
scored
which was before the international break.
The 2-2.
Yes.
That was this season. Yeah.
This season, right. So Foden's finishing is great. I think the one player that really is going to be bothering us is definitely Phil Foden.
Okay, that's interesting because again, I know that a lot of City players out there, and again, there are people in the chat who kind of think that City don't need a striker. Doug, for you, what is the best way to stop the City team?
Scoring more goals. No, I think they need to make sure that they don't score. They make sure the City don't score. I think it's a big game for sure, but the one person to stop is Kevin De Bruyne. I've seen teams sort of man mark De Bruyne. I've seen people man mark Bernardo Silva. I think that's the best way. If you man mark those two out of the game, then I think you'll be absolutely.
Champions League final.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the thing is, Gabriel Jesus is going under the radar a little bit because he seems to be playing right wing or left wing. It's very, very weird. But I totally agree. I agree about Foden. I think Foden has been excellent in the big games this season, and he is one to definitely watch out for sure. But Gabriel Jesus, obviously, I know you'll obviously know Ankit. He obviously scored the winner against you guys at the bridge as well. So he's one to look out for as well as Gabriel Jesus. But I would say Foden, Jesus, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne are definitely the danger men for sure.
Okay, and I think we had one comment, in fact, a question for IG. IG Super Tommy Tuchel asked, do you think Arsenal can sustain this form and finish in top 4? And we had taken a poll, by the way. I have the poll results. While I highlight this question, firstly, I'll go with IG. What do you think?
I think I want them to, but I'm pretty much open wherever they finish, apart from the fact that they don't finish 8th, because that will definitely show us the growth. Even if they finish 7th, I really don't mind it, because I want to be free with this young side. I know they're definitely going to burst onto the scene in a couple of seasons, so I think I'm pretty much open where they end up. Champions League, Europa League, it's a bonus. Of course, there's no question about it. We don't have Europe this season, but I would really want to be watching the game with open heart. I'm not putting a barrier or some sort of thing where the players have to perform. I think they've got to play with their heart. Let's see what they get out of it. Whatever happens.
No, come on, IG, there has to be some kind of motivation for you all, because you got to beat City. Remember, you have to beat City. And then you have
Of
to
course,
definitely qualify to Europe.
that definitely comes in the line. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we're not going to beat
I
City.
get
We're
it.
definitely going to beat City. But what happens after beating City, I don't know. And I'm expecting if things go downhill, I'm fine with that.
You got Spurs coming up soon as well, I believe.
Yes.
Is that the weekend after the FA Cup? You've got Spurs, I
I
think.
think so. Yes.
We have them
15th.
as well then around, yeah.
Yes, it's a North London derby.
Yeah. In fact, we are playing City as well. Like our run is
I'm more
crazy.
excited. By the way, always the derby days are the best days. North London derby. I'm really looking forward to it more than the City game. But don't get me wrong, I definitely want Arsenal to win the City game.
Interesting. So, what's your prediction? I think you went for a confident win, if I'm not wrong. What is your score prediction?
Yes, I think 2-1 or a 1-0 win for Arsenal.
Wow. I think, yeah, definitely 1-0 is doable, I see. As in, if you can get that, defense going for sure. Because, yes, against Brentford, I think City weren't as convincing compared to other games. What's your score prediction, Doug? And, of course, people in the chat.
Oh, I really want to predict Arsenal to win because it would obviously blow open the title race, and then obviously you've got Chelsea Liverpool meeting on the Sunday. I'll go for a draw. I'll go for a 2-2. 2-2.
2-2, okay. I think I won't mind that either. At least City dropping some points somewhere. Should I captain DCL Salah? DCL is probably out, right? As in, he's not back, is he, for Everton? I think Salah is anyway going to be out for African Cup of Nations. I think for this week, I would go with Antonio. And then we'll come to the other games for sure. But yes, certainly we'll be covering that. Great predictions there. I can see a lot of people going for City win. Yeah, that is what probably is more logical, but we are probably more romantic, so to speak. Let's put it that way. And as in great bunch of youngsters that Arsenal have, so it'll be interesting what's the future. But like I said, there are a lot of other games, and we will be quickly going through the predictions. If you have a few minutes, people in the chat as well, get in because we do have a prediction league going. So firstly, I see. If I'm not wrong, there is obviously 2 games were called off because of COVID that we already spoke about in the stream. Crystal Palace against West Ham. Now, I know that we're just taking score predictions, but Crystal Palace, just so you know, I think if I'm not wrong, they have scored in every home game. IG, what's your scoreline against West Ham? It'll be it's London derby after all, right?
I think it will be a draw, 2-2.
Okay, Doug, what about you?
I'm going for a crazy scoreline because it's New Year's Day. I'm going 4-4.
Wow, that'll be fun, right? It'll be really fun. But I think among the other games, we'll just select quickly because of short time. I think obviously Leeds Burnley, that's basically a 6-pointer in terms of relegation. Your call in terms of which team gets relegated, IG, between Leeds and Burnley?
Leeds.
Oh, wow. Doug?
I'm more worried for Leeds. I must admit, I don't think they've been quite near as their good selves this season. But Burnley can get a result from anywhere, so I am going to go Leeds.
Okay, and of course we'll come to this question as well. Like obviously, looking at the fixtures, I would still say like first of all, the 3 options are not great options, is what I would recommend. Honestly, if you have them, you cannot do anything else. But I would still captain Antonio because he's, I think, he scored a goal. So I think I'll go with Antonio against Chelsea. I know Salah always scores, but somehow I can see a defense kind of coming back to form, and that's just me as a Chelsea fan maybe. And the fact that he's also going for African Cup of Nations, so why not have Antonio, with the form that he's in. So, I think that's about it. Of course, Man United Wolves, I'll make the call here. Man United, certainly, I think they had a decent performance couple of days back, so I can see them kind of building on that. I know the game wasn't great in terms of performance on the pitch, in terms of their approach, but I can certainly see Man United winning that game. So it'll probably be a narrow victory. I would go for maybe 2-1 to Man United. But yes, a lot of games discussed there, and of course, people in chat, people watching out there, do put in your predictions, and we'll definitely announce the winner of the predictions league in the new year. I will certainly give the platform quickly to firstly Doug Great to have you on, mate. Happy New Year in advance, and anything that you would like to share. Of course, people in the chat, do check out the channel. It's below.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, and obviously we're going over to somewhere else very, very shortly as well. So yeah, obviously just come and check me out at the Dugout Football channel. I'm going to be doing African Cup of Nations content this coming month as well, so looking forward to it. But no, thank you very much for having me, Ankit, and hopefully for a good game on Sunday.
Absolutely, of course. And Indian Gunnar in the house first time. Hopefully, it's not the last time. We'll have a lot more kind of discussions going on. Anything that you would like to share?
I think I had a wonderful experience here. I think it's been great to share with people who are very much neutral about the results that they would want to get, and of course how they speak in a neutral way about Arsenal as well. So it's really good. I hope you guys had a wonderful time having me on the show as well. It's really great to share the screen space with you guys, and I hope this is not the last time.
Absolutely. And of course, people do check out the links below. Always there, of course, all our streams. Also, you can find we are having all the playlists. And of course, we are getting into the new year. So wish you all a very, very happy new year. Stay safe, enjoy yourselves. But we'll come back very soon on Monday with a live stream. Of course, after the big game. Hopefully, we have a great weekend. Take care and peace out.